Good morning, Facebook and YouTube family, and welcome to the morning word with Dr. Jerome. And for you that's in the clubhouse, good morning to you again. Welcome to Conversations with Dr. Jerome. Listen, happy Friday to everyone. And again, I already said to my clubhouse family, welcome to your first day of May. Good morning, Lady Donna. Auntie Annie, it's so good to see you, ma'am. I so appreciate your support. Lady Donna, I missed you yesterday. Good morning to you, ma'am. Listen, again, happy Friday. This is day 13 of Your Attack Reveals the Assignment. Your Attack Reveal the assignment. Um, Pretty powerful information. And listen, everyone, apply the information, share the information, give the information, evangelize the information, the knowledge. It is beneficial, it's prosperity, and it is freedom. Okay. um in this year of evangelism, because we know that 2026 is our year of evangelism, every heart, every home, every nation, we are fasting from fried foods. Our desire is to see people saved, set free, and delivered. Listen, that's our desire anyway. But as we begin to walk in this knowledge in more, um, as we learn more, as we are connected more, and as that God elevate us even the more, I know many that has been connected or has been receiving this knowledge. God has been elevating you. Man, I would love to hear your stories of elevation. I really do. Um, it has been really, truly, indeed a blessing. I praise God for Lady Donna and Dr. Jerome. I appreciate your sacrifice, your commitment, and all you do for Jubilee, not only Jubilee, but here in the States as well, internationally in other countries. Appreciate that. It just shows, gosh, your relationship, your commitment, your connection with the Father. Love it. For everyone that has given, let me go ahead and open up with that. I was thinking about that yesterday evening, you guys, ministry and what God is doing. I'm telling you, it's always on my mind as God began to show me things and new things. But everyone that has given, for our brothers and sisters in Africa, thank you so much. Thank you for your support. There are some that has made a commitment to just give a percentage anyway to our brothers and sisters over there on a weekly, monthly, or however they have committed. That is just such a blessing. And it just shows your love for the Father. And I'm not saying, listen, even if you have a desire to give, I'm sure the Father appreciated it, and just not able to at the moment. Listen, we're here. I was gonna say all year, but every day, just taking this every day as um, an opportunity to sow, to give, or whatever it is that God, the desire that God has placed in your heart. But for those who made that commitment, man, I'm telling you, you have encouraged me, and I'm just like, wow, that's a God thing. And so I would love to jump on board with that. And so myself has made such a commitment, and so I'm just, man, I'm excited, Dad, about what God is doing this year. Just the word that has been ministered to my heart. I'm excited. I'm just, man, I love it. I love you, sir, and I appreciate you. And at this moment, I will yield to you.
I love you too. And as I do with every one of you, I can't love God and not love people. If I do not love people, then I can't love God because God is love. You cannot breathe without air. If you're underwater, you can't breathe the air. It's just not possible for us because we're not constructed that way. We're not made that way. Well, see, we're made in the image of God. And because God is love, just as we can't breathe underwater, you can't love God and not love people. Love the people Jesus shed his blood for. That's everybody. We can't leave anyone out. So I do love you. Is his name, is it Gary Goki? Brian Goki? Anyway, the artist Goki, last name Goki, he sings a song that it all comes down to this: love God and love people. I mean, that's what Jesus commanded. These are the two commandments. We know we started in the Hebrew culture, the folks, that there was over 2,400 laws that were reduced to 613. Those 613 are still represented on the talif, or the prayer shawl. Those strings, the zizit, the strings that hang on the bottom of the prayer shawl. There's 613 of them. If there are not 613, it is not authentic. Because there were 613 laws, so the priest would wear those laws around their necks and pray. And those 613 was reduced down to 10 commandments, and those 10 commandments was still too difficult. So Jesus said, let's make it a little bit easier for you. On all of the laws, on all of the commandments, hinge these two. Number one, love God with all of your heart, soul, and your strength. And number two is just as important as number one: love your neighbor as you love yourself. Now we want to leapfrog the or leave off the last part, section B of that sentence, of that command of number two, because he said, love your neighbor as you love yourself. So we put emphasis on loving your neighbor, but if you don't love yourself, how can you love your neighbor? And if you don't love God, okay, let's just say be love, be loved, be love. That's what God is. God is love. I do appreciate each one of you. That was for somebody. You got to love yourself. You've got to love yourself. You make sure that your babies eat. You make sure that your children are safe. You've got to love them. You've got to love yourself. The older women are to teach the younger women how to love their husbands, how to love their children, how to take care of their home, how to be chaste, how to be godly. You don't condemn, you don't talk about. Here's I know this is not the message, but maybe it is. Here's how you can tell a foolish woman from a wise one. A foolish woman is going to attack and tear down an ignorant younger woman. Now, ignorance here is not a negative term, but it means she lacks knowledge. She doesn't have the knowledge of that you have been assigned to reveal to her, to share with her. She doesn't have that. And how do you know that you're the one? Because you're the one who's in her presence. If you're ever in the presence of someone who needs help and they were crying out, God answered their cries and sent you to them. So if you're in the family of, or in the vicinity, or in the earshot, if you're in the presence of a young woman who doesn't know what to do, and she doesn't know that she doesn't know what to do, I declare now that the Lord is giving you wisdom, woman of God. He's giving you wisdom so you can minister to this young girl, and it won't be, well, young woman. So you're the help that's been sent to her. You're the change that this woman has been praying for. Be the change. You are. See, you've been anointed and gifted to reach into places in her life that no man could ever reach. You have the voice, you have the experience, you have the knowledge, you have the application of the knowledge. So you've been walking in that knowledge and applying and living that knowledge. So she's going to see that application of your knowledge as wisdom and glean from that. So I speak of boldness and a passion and a love for her, that you'll see her, even though you're not that much, you might not be old enough to be her mother, or are you? See, there's no condemnation. You can't look down on her because she's a young mother. One of the youngest mothers in the Bible was not married when she gave birth. Man, I just told you who she was. Her name is Mary. Some of the rabbinic texts will say that identify her as either 12 or 13 years of age when she was pregnant. So she was no more than 14 when she gave birth to Jesus. And when she gave birth to Jesus, she was an unwed mother. That should make you change your mind about the way you see these young girls carrying babies that belong to them. No condemnation. We don't have the ability to condemn anybody anyway. We don't have the right to do that. You're in her life not to tear her down, but to build her up. That's for somebody. That's for somebody. Walk with it. Walk with it and work with it. Be the love this world needs. Let me run over this discussion where we've been talking. The attack reveals the assignment. Has this been ministering to anybody? Has it brought some revelation to anybody? The attack reveals the assignment. Have you seen yourself? Have you heard? Did you have an aha moment? Okay, let's look at this, because day one, if you feel the urge to damage your lungs, your voice was meant to worship and be heard. Day two, if you struggle with self-doubt and insecurity, you were created to lead and inspire. Three, if darkness tries to mute your confidence, it's because you're dangerous to it. Four, if you feel distracted or procrastination, if you battle distraction or procrastination, you carry vision and strategy. Now that one really hit somebody. Somebody just got slapped with that one, because you battle distraction and procrastination. You carry vision and strategy. You're the go-to person. Five, if you struggle with lust or pornography, you were designed for covenant and intimacy. Six, if you fear rejection or abandonment, you're created to restore and gather. Restore and gather. Number seven, if your finances are under constant attack, and I just heard, I heard portion of Lasagna was talking about sowing. Your way out is through. How do you get out of that place? You give your way out. Sow it, give it. There are times in your life when, in our lives, when we didn't have enough to meet our needs. So what we had, we used it as seed and we sowed everything. I can't tell you how many times I sowed my entire paycheck. I can't tell you how many times I've emptied my account. I've emptied our account, gave away every penny that we had. And let me say this publicly. I got to pause right there, because the Lord gave me a woman. He gave me the one that I needed. He gave me the one that was connected to my future, a future I couldn't even see, didn't understand. He gave me a woman in the area of finances. Let me tell you, I mean, you might have, now we've disagreed, but we're not disagreeable. When the Lord spoke to me, and my wife would say quickly, no, he talked to him. See, that speaks to me, because Donna said, no, the Lord spoke to my husband. He didn't speak to me. But the Lord told me to give away every penny that we had saved to buy this house. Every penny. I mean, it might seem like not much for you. It was just a down payment, but still, it was $24,000, and the Lord said, give it away. And I told my wife, we were down to it, and it seemed like it happened quickly, but we were down to $419 on a Sunday. And I heard the Lord say, give this to, call him Parnell, give it to Parnell. And my wife and I were sitting there in church. He was up speaking. We had, I think, 2 more services, morning services. I think we were at 4 morning services at that time. And you know what my wife said to me? Donna said to me when I said, you know, Donna, I just heard the Lord say, take everything we have left, $419, and get it to Parnell. And Donna looked at me and she said, well, what are you waiting on? Go out and get it. I had to go to some ATMs, well, not ATMs, but to the store. You know, you can get a pack of gum and go over the amount until I got everything that we had left. And between the services, I went in and I sold it. And he said, Jay, and he's just shaking his head. He said, I just told Diana that he had to go to Los Angeles for a class. And he said, I have no spending money. I got nothing. He said, this is more than enough. Again, the Lord has, and so we had a little conversation, but it was after we were now empty. That Monday morning is when the loan officer called to say that everything was done. All of the everything is in order. Just wire that money into the title company, and it's all good. And I told her, well, there's a problem that's not really a problem. What's that? The Lord told me to give it away. And she said, and you did that? And I said, every penny. And immediately the Lord spoke to her. Alana, I will not forget her name. Alana, the Lord spoke to Alana, and she said, I'll call you back. I just had an idea. She calls back in less than an hour. I found an organization that's gifting you $50,000 to use as a down payment. And it didn't stop there. One day we'll talk about that. But it was a whole lot more than that happened because we broke ourselves, gave it all away, did what the Lord said to do. But my point was that Donna said, the Lord spoke to my husband. He didn't speak to me, but my wife never once told me not to do it. The Lord spoke to you. You better do what the Lord said. That's been my wife. Never once in these 46 years. Well, we've had disagreements about other things, but I said, well, this is what the Lord is saying. Never once has Donna said it to me anyway. She's never expressed to me, we're not going to do that. I don't care what the Lord, she never said that. She said, what are you waiting for? Go do what the Lord told you to do. That's my woman. Yeah, buddy. Oh, okay. So if your finances are under constant attack, you're called to steward and to build. We are moving into a season. My God, I want to prophesy to somebody. You're moving into a season in your life, and your season has been shifted because of your obedience. Even as the almanac and the calendar, I've said it often, they do not determine the seasons. The seasons in this world are determined by the way the earth tilts toward the sun. And I speak to you, man and woman of God, because of the way you've been tilting toward the sun, you have shifted your season. Your season. This is the season for stewardship and building. This is the season for the God of more than enough has called you by his name. Your name, now the name is It's not his name, but it's his action. Name is authority and reputation. Your authority and reputation in the area of finances has shifted. Now, I'm not telling you to empty your account. I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm just sharing to you with you what worked, and I'm prophesying to you. And even the word that was spoken to you by Lasonia concerning finances. You've heard talk. You've heard testimonies. This is your season to shift. Somebody needs to say, I'm shifting. I'm shifting. I'm tilting toward the Son of God. I am leaning and depending on him. I'm trusting you. And if you've ever put your mouth, if a husband, if the Lord has spoken to your wife, man, if the Lord has spoken to your wife in this area, don't you put your mouth on her. You say to your woman what my woman said to me. What are you waiting for? Encourage her to do what the Lord told her to do. Now, maybe she spoke to, maybe she's speaking, your wife is just speaking what the Lord is saying for the house, or maybe the husband is saying, just speaking or declaring what the Lord is saying for the house. But whoever the Lord chooses to speak to, the other one better listen. Okay, if your finances are under constant attack, you're called to steward and to build. If relationships around you, number 8, stay in conflict, you're a peacemaker and a stabilizer. Number 9, day 9 of 14, if your marriage is under unusual pressure, it carries kingdom purpose. Day 10, if parenting feels attacked or overwhelming, you're not raising children, you're raising legacy. You're raising legacy. You're not just raising your children, you are raising legacy. Day 11, if you struggle with discipline or education, you're called to wisdom and instruction. Day 12, if you resist submission or authority, you're being prepared to lead. Day 13, this is today. If you feel overlooked or hidden, you're being prepared, not ignored. If you feel overlooked or hidden, you are being prepared, not ignored. This is for somebody. That maybe the reason why you feel unseen, or maybe it is not just that you feel unseen, that you're really unseen and you're overlooked. It's because the Lord is working on you in a place people can't interrupt. There can be no interruption. The Lord took us away from Sacramento only to prepare us in Mobile and bring us back to Sacramento. Mobile was the last state that we lived, not state, but city that we lived in there at Alabama before ministry was launched. Participated in ministries. I mean, we left Sacramento initially, and we were in Louisiana. From Louisiana, where did we go? We went. Now I'm talking about being away from home. So we left Louisiana, and together we were in Florida, and from Florida to California, California to Virginia, Virginia to Alabama. I'm just talking about places, states that we moved to together. I lived in Texas. I lived in Illinois. I lived in places overseas, Alaska, and a few other countries, but places that we've been together. See, we'll be moving around, and it's something that this is where the Lord always intended on us to come back and launch or to do this ministry. See, some of the greatest people in the scriptures, we would say that they were great. They were hidden before they were revealed. See, Joseph was hidden in prison. Moses was hidden in the wilderness. Elijah was hidden in the brook. Jesus was hidden for 30 years. How can you hide the sun for 30 years? Jesus was hidden for 30 years. His ministry was 3.5 years. David was hidden in the field because God often conceals what he's cultivating. Your hidden season isn't proof that you've been forgotten. Your hidden season is really evidence that you're being prepared for something greater than your current environment can handle. Let's check out 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel chapter 16. This is talking about the anointing of David as king. Why David? We're talking about being overlooked. And Samuel sent. Well, he was sent to Jesse's house, and he sent and brought David in. See, when Samuel goes to Jesse's house and he says, "The Lord sent me here to anoint the next king," then Jesse brought Eliab, and all of his other sons came out, and the oil wouldn't flow for them. And so he said to Jesse, he says, "You got to have somebody else, because the Lord told me that I'm to come to your house and to anoint one of your sons as the next king. So is there somebody else?" And he says, "Well, I mean, there's David. There's David. David was overlooked. David was forgotten." And you're going to read, when you read this story, even just before David fought Goliath and he shows up at the battle, that it was only a battle because it was waiting on David to show up. David thought that he was just bringing lunch to his brothers and going to take a report back to his father, not knowing that he was getting ready to experience something that's going to shake up the world. It's going to change everything. The shift was in the lunch. Yeah, so Jesse sent and they brought David in, and now he was ruddy, now I can't pass this word right here, because ruddy, it's been Western culture has tried to redefine ruddy, and the word, the Hebrew word there and root word is Adam, or Adom, which is earthy, or it's brownish glow, not rosy cheeks. They didn't have rosy cheeks on the brown skin. Adam, just as the first man, so was David, a man of color. All right. Okay. So now he was ruddy, or he had this glow, this brownish, or I'll even say this reddish or this brownish, like he was blushing, a brownish glow about him. And it says that he was good looking. Yeah, he was beautiful, had a beautiful countenance, and goodly to look to. That's what King James says. Can I read this? This is the same rendering, but from the Tanakh, which is the Hebrew text, and it says that so he sent and brought him in, and he was ruddy cheeked, bright eyed, and handsome. And we already know that that word was Adam, which is just to say it was earthy toned, brownish, bright eyed, and handsome. And the Lord said, "Rise and anoint him, for he is the one." So Samuel took the horn and anointed him in the presence of his brothers, and the Spirit of the Lord gripped David from that day on. So when the Spirit of the Lord came upon David, it departed from Saul. The Spirit of the Lord came upon David. So David was overlooked. He wasn't invited into the room. His father presented all of his other sons first. Samuel had to literally ask, is there another son? Yeah, David was hidden in the field while everybody else stood in the house. But the Lord knew exactly where he was. See, the oil wasn't looking for popularity. The oil was looking for preparation. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So know this. Okay. Okay. Let me deal with something quick, because there's been discussion and some debate why David was always overlooked and why he was apparently hated by his brothers. Well, and then some even go so far as in the psalmist where David said, "In sin did my mother conceive me," because there are some texts or some studies, some discussions say that Jesse doubted the legitimacy of David as his son, because he was a little different than the others. And some have even speculated that David had a different mother from his brothers. So, and this is some of but even the ancient texts never say that explicitly. But what we do know is this: is that David he was overlooked, he was underestimated, he was isolated, he was misunderstood. We get that. We know that his brothers spoke against him, and sometimes the people rejected. The people will reject what they don't understand. They don't understand the call of God on your life, so you're rejected. Even in the church you've been attending. Some men want you to be quiet because what you carry is greater than anything they experienced. So David didn't look like what they expected a king to look like. Eliab did. David smelled like sheep, not royalty. His brothers saw a shepherd boy, but Saul saw a king. See, Samuel saw a king. Saul had the title, but David had the anointing. See, some of you listening this morning, you've been asking, why does it feel like everybody else is being recognized except me? Am I talking to anybody? Why is everybody being recognized except me? Why is my name left out of the conversations? Why am I the only one not receiving the gift, but I always bring one? Why is it that nobody even knows who I am, even though I'm here doing the work? Because preparation, it happens. He's developing you in private, but you're not going to be hidden much longer. See, God develops roots before fruit. See, some rooms can't recognize what heaven has already chosen. Here's something for you to think about. You keep being pulled into isolation. That's not abandonment, that's development. You feel like you're misunderstood. I keep asking this question: am I talking to anybody, or am I still talking to myself? I'm gonna, for those of you who are on Facebook and YouTube, I'm looking down at my phone to see who I'm talking to here on Clubhouse. You feel misunderstood. See, your current environment, it doesn't match your future assignment, what you're being prepared for. Don't fret it. Don't fret it. Don't fret it at all. Okay, let me go back to you here. YouTube. Okay, bronze. Okay, got you. Who is it then? Who is it? You carry a vision that others can't see. See, David saw victory while everybody else saw a giant. You're faithful in small things. See, the oil found David while he was tending sheep. And get this, even after he was anointed, he went back to the sheep. He was anointed as king, but he went back to the sheep, doing what he was instructed to do, still being overlooked, anointed as king in the presence of his brothers by the man they recognize as the prophet, but he's still overlooked. What are you doing here? Why would you even talk to him like that when the man of God just anointed your little brother as king? And wherever he shows up, my job is to make sure that he gets back safely. Oh my goodness. See, the attack recognizes the assignment before people do. Your rejection isn't proof that something is wrong with you. Your rejection, being overlooked, is the evidence that you're being prepared for a room your history can't explain. People are still connected to your past and they can't see your future. They're so stuck in what you were and where you came from and what you did then that they can't see what they don't recognize what you're doing. That's the overlook, and they can't see where you're going. Yeah. See, David was formed in the field. He was formed in the place where he was forgotten, overlooked. Yeah. Yeah. Don't panic because people don't know your name. They don't have to. Well, I can tell you, I can tell you some stuff. Let me just wrap this up, y'all. I want to wrap this up with something that happened to me while I was active duty. I was active duty. Now, I'll tell you that I enlisted in the Air Force. We were students. I started off as a midshipman in college. I got married. My wife was pregnant. I was working. The money that I had was not sufficient. Laid off from one job, and on my way home, when I was laid off and a full-time student, I stopped to get something to eat at McDonald's and asked them if they was hiring. And they hired me on the spot. I started working the next day. I worked there for 9 days and said, this ain't gonna work. I mean, because of where I was going. So I enlisted. I sure did. Put college on hold. I just needed to get those benefits and take care of my wife and our child. So I did and took the job. The job that I had, went back to school while I was active duty, finished with a bachelor's and master's and went on and attended those seminaries while I was in school and sharpened some languages and other skills. But anyway, so I can say that I'm university educated, seminary trained, 3 seminaries trained, graduated from all 3. Community College of the Air Force, the Air Force Academy's chaplain's candidacy program, all of those things. I did them all and did some. But I was promised a commission. My commission was approved by my colonel and the commander of Tactical Air Command, General, so 4-star General Russ. He approved it. Some captain at headquarters disapproved it because of shortage of 12 staff sergeants in my career field. So the colonel and the general were not happy at all that a captain overruled them, but the captain was at headquarters. So they did a waiver, same result. Then I was deployed, but I was deployed and augmented. So I had my regular job as a mortuary, but I was augmented as a chaplain and given chapel responsibilities. I sat in commanders' calls with all officers. I counseled, advised the officers, the commanders. Even the chaplain would come to me. The chief chaplain in theater came to me for counsel and advice. I ministered to him, prayed for him. I had my own suite, my own room. I was treated like I was the commander. The colonel said that I was functioning as a lieutenant colonel. And so I worked as a lieutenant colonel, but I was paid as a staff sergeant. I kind of messed up, but I'm not the only Black person who was treated that way. Anyway, so I end up I end up in Alaska, a remote tour. Remember, I had to agree to take any job so we can be at the we can be at the installation that had the medical accommodations for our daughter, for Tiffany. My wife was was the president, really the founding president of the first president of the EFMP at Langley, Virginia. It was formed for us. My goodness. So anyway, here's the story. It's lunchtime at on base at King Salmon, and I got my blues on, got my stripes and all this stuff, and I'm in charge. There's a long line at lunch, and you all know that senior officers and NCOs and officers, you got to pay for your meal. I think it was E7s and above have to pay for their meals, so you don't get that break in the dining facility. Now the Army and the others, they have chow halls. We don't have chow halls. In the Air Force, we have dining facilities. It's an experience, more like a restaurant. Anyway, there's a long line, right? There's a long line. We got a new airman on the grill. It's lunchtime and he's kind of slow. So I come out, I got my blues, and I have two spatulas because remember I said I worked at McDonald's. I was on that grill for 9 days and said it wasn't going to work. So I said, I got some experience. It's been some years, but this is going to be fun. Well, long story short, let me cut to the chase. The senior enlisted advisor, E9, the highest ranking enlisted person on that island, comes in the line and he's got his entourage with him. It's lunchtime, place is packed. And he looks at me. Now, he would dress differently at night. And he'll tell you, I'm the biggest redneck on this island, on King Salmon. He wore his jeans, cowboy boots, his hat, the whole night. This dude was out there, and he's about 6'4", 6'5", slender, muscular built, but he's a dude, right? And so I'm on the grill, and he looks down at me, and he tells me, "Make me a grilled turkey and cheese sandwich." I didn't like his attitude, but I can't say, "Man, I don't like your attitude." He's an E9, I'm E5. All right. So I said, "Well, sir," and everybody's looking at me to see, okay, how's Matt going to handle this? Now, I was also the pastor of the only Baptist church on the island. And I was the only person of color in this church. But nonetheless, it was a Southern Baptist church. So everybody knows who I am, I thought. But anyway, I told him, I said, "Well, Chief, unfortunately, grilled turkey and cheese is not on the menu for today, but if you would select an item on the menu, I'll be glad to make it for you." Now, the truth of the matter is, though it wasn't on the menu, he could have just handed me some of the turkey that was on the salad bar, and I would have made him his sandwich. I didn't like his attitude. And then he said, when I told him that, you know what he said? He didn't say, "Okay, no problem," and order something else. He said, loud enough for everybody to hear. This is 1992, y'all. He said, "I can get any monkey to do your job." Now, something was trying to rise up in me, but I'm in control. And I told him, I said, "Well, Chief, what you're going to need to do first is find a monkey, train that monkey, and I'm sure that monkey would be happy to prepare a meal for you. But as for me and my staff, we will not serve you. Now, please leave this facility." "You can't throw me out." "Sir, if you don't leave this facility, I'll be forced to call the security police and have you removed." He says, "Well, I already paid my money at the door." And I said, "And the services squadron kindly thanks you for your donation. Now, please leave now." He's cussing and fussing, but he leaves because I'm getting ready to call the police for real. Him and his entourage, they didn't eat that day. That was a Tuesday. How do I know it was a Tuesday? Because Tuesday evening, well, afternoon, I'm going over to the University of Alaska Fairbanks, and there's a class. It's the first day of class, Humanities 101, Religions of Africa. So I walk in the class, and everybody's already in there. Every chair is full. First day of school. Who's sitting up front? The senior enlisted advisor, that chief. and his cronies. And there were some officers and captains and lieutenants. There were people who were in that class. It was packed. I walk in, I'm the only person of color. And so when I walk in, the chief, he starts talking. Hey, look, everybody, it's Cookie. Calling me Cookie. He said, you're coming in here to learn how to read so you can make the sandwiches people want. And they're laughing. These folks are laughing. And so I laugh. I'm not laughing with them. I'm laughing at them. And so I sit on the desk, on the corner, on the front of the desk, and I'm right in front of the chief. And he's just talking. He's saying all kinds of crazy stuff. And people are laughing. So I'm laughing too. Well, it's almost 5 o'clock, and there's some writing from the last instructor. And so I start erasing the dry erase board, just clean it up. And he says, you're trying to get in good with the teachers so you can keep up with the rest of us good folks. And then once I got the board clean, I turn around, I'm sitting back on the desk in front of him, and he's still talking. Now it's about 5 after 5, people still laughing. And he said, hey, I wonder where the teacher is. They're looking around. They said, how are you going to be late on your first day? And I did one of those, I should have had a V8 moves, pop my forehead. I'm like, oh, chief, I forgot to tell you that by day, I'm your cookie. I make your sandwiches. But by night, I'm Dr. McGee, your instructor. There was silence. And I said, see, you were judging me by the way you saw me. But what you did not know, chief, is that I speak 4 languages. What you did not know is that I graduated at the top of my class with 4.0 was my average. What you did not know is that, and I just went through all of this. So, and then I proceeded to lecture. It was a 5-hour class, and I lectured on the religions of Africa for 5 straight hours. And I did that for 3 days, never repeating anything. The chief never called me staff sergeant after that. Nobody called me sergeant after that. You know what they called me? Dr. McGee. That was 1992. Maybe I was in the flesh just a little bit, but the point was made. People will overlook you because the way they see you dressed, the way that where they see you live, they think where you are is who you are. Where I am, it may be in isolation, which means you don't even realize that you're in isolation as well. But you don't need anybody to validate you when God has already chosen you. Somebody needs to say, I've been chosen. The very people who ignored you are going to be the ones who watch the oil fall on you. They're going to be the ones who are going to be subject to the next decision that you make. Your assignment is not, the assignment on your life is not going to be determined by somebody's applause, by their visibility, by your popularity, by their acceptance. It's going to be determined by your obedience. So stay obedient, stay submitted. Let's just pray. So Father, in the name of Jesus, for every person listening this morning, I loose the spirit of discouragement and bitterness and insecurity and even comparison. I loose you from your assignment. Those spirits, I loose you from your assignment, and I bind to them confidence, faith, love. Make them courageous now to stand and be developed. Remind them that the hidden doesn't mean forgotten. Strengthen them in the field. Develop them in their private, in this private moment. Prepare their hearts for the weight of the oil, and let them understand, Father, that the attack is revealing their assignment. And just like David, may the Spirit of the Lord rest upon you, man and woman of God. rest upon you from this day forward in the magnificent name of Jesus. Your attack, remember that your attack reveals your assignment. You're overlooked. That's been scripted. You're being ignored. Now you're being prepared. If you're overlooked, if you're feeling like you're hidden, you're being prepared, not ignored. The Lord bless you. For those of you who are on YouTube, on Facebook, no, this is Friday. This is May 1st. May 1st. May 1st. May this be the first word you heard, and it sets the tone for the rest of your life. Be excited. Day 13 or 14. We got another day to talk about something, and you don't want to miss that one. The Lord bless you and keep you. We're going to continue this conversation on Clubhouse. Somebody's got something they'd like to add. Maybe they had an aha moment. Nobody's going to preach a message. Nobody's going to take you away from anything that's been said. They're going to continue to add because this is an aha moment, or they're just going to listen to what others have to say. But if you have something you'd like to say, come on over to Clubhouse and join Conversations with Dr. Jerome. And somebody's going to give you an opportunity to share those 2 or 3 minutes, in those 2 or 3 minutes to share everything that's in your heart for this topic, for day 13 or 14. The Lord bless you and keep you. We'll see you on Sunday. Hey, my goodness, make sure that we can reach out. I'm going to come back probably on Saturday, tomorrow, because I'm going to be speaking at Jubilee Training Center. That's 7000 Franklin Boulevard, Suite 560 in Sacramento. That's going to be Sunday morning at the 10 a.m. service. And then I'm going over to, it's on Tally Ho Drive in the city of Rosemont, California, just off of Kiefer, going to Angels of Mercy, House of Deliverance for Apostle Debbie Gibson has asked me to speak for her, their 12:30 service. So I'll be there Sunday as well. If you're in the Rosemont area, come over to Angels of Mercy, House of Deliverance. It's in the business park, but there on Tally Ho Drive, just off of Kiefer. All right, that's 12:30 on Sunday. But I'll post something else for you tomorrow. All right. Blessings to you all and peace. Moderator, you have it.